Remembrance Day holds significant importance in honoring all victims of conflicts worldwide. Although its inception was to commemorate fallen soldiers of World War I, the day's purpose has expanded to include victims of subsequent wars. While it is essential to remember the tragic 2M+ victims of the Bengal famine, it is crucial to recognize that Remembrance Day primarily focuses on understanding the true costs of war and is not exclusively about Winston Churchill or events from the 1940s. The Bengal famine was an enormous tragedy that deserves remembrance, but attributing it solely to Winston Churchill is a misconception. Dr. Shashi Tharoor's book blamed Churchill for the famine, leading to a myth that has spread across India. However, the Bengal famine occurred in 1943, merely 3 years after Churchill became Prime Minister, making it implausible for him to have planned and executed a deliberate policy to cause such a catastrophic event. The reality is that the Bengal famine resulted from a combination of various factors, including natural causes, pressures of war, and mismanagement by both British and Indian authorities. It was not a deliberate famine orchestrated by Winston Churchill. In fact, his actions actually helped mitigate the severity of the famine, potentially saving even more lives. One critical factor contributing to the famine was the epidemic of brown spot disease that attacked the rice crop in Bengal in 1942. This disease caused severe reductions in rice yield, ranging from 40% to 90%. While administrative failures were partly responsible for the suffering, the primary cause of the short crop supply was the devastating brown spot epidemic. Churchill's concern for India's food situation was evident in his correspondence with American President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He expressed serious concern about the food situation in India and highlighted the grievous famine in Bengal, which claimed the lives of at least 700,000 people. Churchill made efforts to arrange the shipment of 350,000 tons of wheat from Australia to India during the first 9 months of 1944, despite facing challenges with limited shipping resources during the ongoing war. It's expanded in scope since then after the war to end all wars turned out to only be the opening salvos of a century of conflict. But if you're feeling incensed that the day is about honoring Winston Churchill and ignores victims of some of his other actions, then it's not that at all, and anyone using it as some kind of commemoration of national triumph is missing the point completely. While administrative failures were immediately responsible for this human suffering, the principal cause of the short crop supply in 1943 was the epidemic of brown spot disease which attacked the rice crop in Bengal in 1942. Nothing as devastating as the Bengal rice brown spot epidemic of 1942 has been recorded in plant pathology literature. The disease caused yield reductions of rice in Bengal of 40 to 90%. Churchill's involvement in addressing the famine, contrary to the belief that he caused it, highlights his efforts to alleviate the crisis. His actions exemplify a concern for India's food situation and a commitment to provide aid during such dire circumstances. It is essential to differentiate between actual events and misconceptions propagated about Churchill's involvement in the Bengal famine. While he faced criticism for his policies and statements, holding him solely responsible ignores the broader historical context and the numerous factors that contributed to the tragedy. Evaluating historical figures should consider both their achievements and shortcomings, acknowledging the complexities that shape their actions. As we remember the victims of the Bengal famine and all those affected by war, let us strive for a deeper understanding of history, avoiding oversimplifications, and acknowledging the complexities that shape it. Remembrance Day continues to hold significance as we reflect on the costs of war and its impact on countless lives. The lessons learned from past tragedies can guide us towards a more